Welcome back to Guitar Theory Modules. This is Module 12 and we're on pages 39 through 41. We've been laying some groundwork learning about intervals and major scales. In this module you're going to put some of that knowledge to use to learn how chords are built, starting with the major triad. A triad is a three-note chord with each note stacked in thirds. There are four types of triads: major, minor, augmented, and diminished, and we're going to look at the major triad. A triad consists of a root note, a third, and a fifth. The root is the note the chord is built on. The third is an interval of a third above the root. The fifth is an interval of a fifth above the root, and also the fifth is an interval of a third above the third. In a major triad, the interval between the root and the third of the chord is a major third, and the interval between the third and the fifth of the chord is a minor third. If you're still working on your major and minor intervals, I suggest going back to Module 8 for some review. The fifth of a major triad is always a perfect fifth above the root. Let's look at some examples. We have a C major triad, C, E, G. C going up to G is a perfect fifth. An A flat major triad, A flat, C, E flat. A flat going up to E flat is a perfect fifth. And an A major triad, A, C sharp, E. A going up to E is a perfect fifth. If you think of the root note as the beginning of a major scale, the major triad consists of notes 1, 3, and 5 of that major scale. Here's a C scale: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notes 1, 3, 5 are a C major triad, root 3, 5. D major scale: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. D major triad, notes 1, 3, 5 of the scale, root 3, 5. At the bottom of page 40, we have a major triad exercise. So you're given the root of the chord. Your job is to build a major triad based on each root that you're given. And try constructing these triads in different ways. First, add thirds on top of the root note. And then if you need to, add a sharp or flat to the third of the chord so that it's a major third above the root. And then if needed, add a sharp or flat to the fifth of the chord so the fifth is a minor third above the third of the chord. And then you can double check to make sure that the fifth is a perfect fifth above the root. And just like major scales, major triads will only have sharps or only flats. You're never going to mix sharps and flats in a major triad. The other way I'd like you to construct these major triads is to build a major scale starting on whatever root note you're given, and then construct the triad by adding the third and fifth notes of that scale on top of the root note. If you have my book, Guitar Theory Modules, you can write your answer right there in the book, and you can check your work on page 213. If you don't have Guitar Theory Modules, you're going to need something to write on. I have some free manuscript paper you can download from my website. I'll leave a link in the description. I'm going to go over these answers right now, so pause the video, do your work, start the video, and check your work. Number 1, we have an F major triad. If you're building this triad by intervals, you stack two other notes in thirds above that F, so you wind up with F, A, and C. F to A needs to be a major third, and it is. And A to C needs to be a minor third, and it is. And just for double checking, F up to C should be a perfect fifth, and it is. So you have an F major triad. Number 2, we have an A major triad to build. This time let's build it off of a scale. So we construct an A major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And out of that A major scale, we end up with A, C sharp, and E as notes 1, 3, and 5 of the scale. So there's your root 3, 5. Number 3, B major triad. Let's build this one by intervals. So you stack thirds above that B, and you get B, D, and F. B to D, we need a major third there, but it's a minor third, so we change the D to a D sharp. D sharp to F, we need a minor third here, but that's smaller than a minor third, so we change that F to an F sharp, and we have a minor third. And then just to double check, B up to F sharp needs to be a perfect fifth, and it is, so we have B major triad, B, D sharp, F sharp. Number 4, we have an E flat major triad. This time let's build a scale. Construct an E flat major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have an E flat, G, B flat as notes 1, 3, and 5 of the E flat major scale, and that is also our E flat major triad. Number 5, C major triad. This time let's do intervals. We stack thirds above that C, so we have C, E, G. C to E is a major third, so we're good. E to G is a minor third, so we're good there. And then just to double check, C to G is a perfect fifth, and we have a C major triad, C, E, G. Number 6, we have a D major triad to build. Let's construct a scale this time. So we construct a D major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our notes for the D major triad are notes 1, 3, 5 of the D major scale, D, F sharp, and A. Number 7, we have an A flat major triad to build. Let's do this one by intervals. So we stack thirds above that A flat for a C and an E. A flat to C needs to be a major third, and it is. And then C to E needs to be a minor third, but C to E is a major third, so we change the E to an E flat, and then we double check that the A flat to up to E flat is a perfect fifth, and it is, so we have an A flat major triad, A flat, C, E flat. Number 8, D flat major triad. Let's build a scale this time from a D flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our notes for the D flat major triad are notes 1, 3, 5 of the D flat major scale, D flat, F, A flat. Root 3, 5. Chords can be written with closed and open voicings. In a closed voiced chord, each part of the chord, your root 3, 5, is as close together as it can possibly get, with each note stacked in thirds, and every note is within an octave. Open voice chords are more spread out, with a third and the fifth, or both, being raised at least 1 octave. Here's a C major triad in closed voicing. We have our root, 3, 5, all stacked up nice and neat next to each other in thirds, within an octave. Here's a C major triad in open voicing. We still have a root and a third and a fifth, but the third has been raised an octave, so the notes are more spread out. This is another C major triad in open voicing. We still have a root, a third, and a fifth, but this time the fifth is raised an octave, so the notes are more spread out. To change an open voice chord into a closed voice chord, move the upper notes down an octave until all the notes are stacked in thirds again. Here we have an F major chord in open voicing. We have a root and a 3 and a 5, but the third is up an octave. If you want to change that to closed voicing, you could take the third, that high A, move it down between the F and the C, so they're all stacked in thirds, nice and neat. Here's another open voiced F chord with the fifth raised an octave. So we have a root, third, and then the fifth way up high. To change that to a closed voicing, you would take that high C, move it down an octave so it's close to the root, 3, and 5, all stacked in thirds, all within an octave. And in this example of an F chord in open voicing, we have a root, 3, and a 5. The third and the fifth are both raised an octave, and you could take those down an octave and put them next to the root. Or if you wanted to, you could maybe take that root and raise it an octave. It doesn't really matter. Either way, you end up with a closed voice F major chord with all the notes stacked up in thirds next to each other, all within an octave. To change a closed voice triad into an open voiced, you either move the third, fifth, or both at least an octave higher. So here's a closed voiced F major triad, root 3, 5, all stacked up next to each other. To change that to an open voicing, you could take the third of the chord, that A, move it up an octave, and now we have an open voiced F major triad. And we've changed this closed voice F major triad to open voicing by raising the fifth an octave higher. And in this third example, we've raised the third and the fifth an octave higher, so they're both far away from the root. At the bottom of page 41, we have this closed, open, major triad exercise. So you're given the name of a triad. Your job is to write each triad in both closed and open voicings. Again, if you have my book, Guitar Theory Modules, you can write your answers right there in the book, and you can check your work on page 213. And if you don't have Guitar Theory Modules, you can download a free PDF of manuscript paper from my website. I will leave a link for that in the description. And I'm going to go over these answers right now, so pause the video, write your answers, start the video, and check your answers. There's more than one way to write an open voice triad, so your answers may differ from mine. But as long as your open voice triads have the third or the fifth or both raised an octave, and you don't have the notes stacked in thirds within the octave, you're good to go. Number 1, we have a B-flat major triad to build, first in closed voicing. Let's build this off of the B-flat major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B-flat, D, F are our notes 1, 3, 5 of the scale, so there's your B-flat major triad. To change that to an open voice triad, we can take the third of the chord, raise it an octave, and now we have an open voiced B-flat major triad. Number 2, we need to build an E major triad, first in closed voicing. So if we go with the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, notes 1, 3, 5 of the scale are E, G sharp, and B. So there's your E major triad in closed voicing. To change it to open voicing, we can take the third of the chord, that G sharp, raise it an octave, and now we have an open voiced E major triad. And again, you could choose to raise the fifth an octave or the third and the fifth an octave. Either way is good. Number 3, we have an A major triad to build. Let's use our scale, A, B, C sharp, D, E, 1, 3, 5. So our A major triad should be A, C sharp, and E. And to change it to an open voice triad, we can raise the C sharp, the third of the chord, an octave higher. Number 4, E flat major triad, first in closed voicing. If we use our scale method, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. E flat, G, B flat is our closed voice E flat major triad. To change it to an open voiced E flat major triad, you can take the third of the chord, that G, and raise it an octave, and now we have an open voiced E flat major triad. Number 5, D major triad. Let's build our scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. D, F sharp, A is our closed voiced D major triad. To change this to an open voiced D major triad, we can raise the third of the chord, that F sharp, an octave, and now we have an open voiced D major triad. Number 6, an F major triad in closed voicing. Build our scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have F, A, C as our F major triad in closed voicing. To change that to an open voice triad, we can take the third of that chord, the A, raise it an octave, and now we have an open voiced F major triad. Number 7, C major triad. C, D, E, F, G, 1, 3, 5. So those are C major triads, C, E, G in closed voicing. We can take the E, the third of the chord, raise it an octave, and now we have an open-voiced C major triad. Number 8, an A flat major triad in closed voicing. Let's build our A flat major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A flat, C, E flat. So there's our A flat major triad in closed voicing. To change this to an open voicing, we can take the C, the third of the chord, raise it an octave, and now we have an open voiced A flat major triad. Your assignment for this module is to practice writing major triads, so download that free manuscript paper from my website and print as much as you need. Pick a few notes a day, and I recommend picking natural and flat notes. If you pick sharp notes, you're going to end up with some double sharps, and we haven't talked about that yet. Write your triads based on whatever note you choose. First, write them in closed voicing with each note stacked up in thirds within the octave, and then change them to open voicings by raising the third, fifth, or both an octave higher. If you spend enough time doing this, you're going to be repeating some chords, but that's okay. The more time you spend writing out these triads, the more you're going to understand them. Now, understanding major triads is crucial for understanding chords and harmony, so stay on this module as long as you need. Don't forget to check out guitar theory modules. You can watch all my videos for free, but if you have guitar theory modules, you'll have all this information in one place. It's going to be a lot easier to follow along, so I'll leave a link in the description. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and when you are ready, I will see you in Module 13, where you're going to learn how to play major triad arpeggios on the guitar.